Join us.
I'm not crazy. You are. Oh, wait. All right, guys. It's the Written Writ here with our special edition and checking out our friend Russ's Game of Toons Kickstarter release. And we have special guest host Brian from Shadowmere.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
It's a lot of fun. It's a party. It's a blast. I know you can't wait to see what happens next. Neither can I. All right, so Brian, why don't we start with you? You just tell them who you are, what you do, all the good stuff out there.
Sure. I am, I guess you'd say, the president, one of the owners of Shadowmere Comics. I didn't plan this intro, obviously, but we're an indie publisher. We're in Florida, and we produce currently Hardly Heroes. It's a tongue-in-cheek fantasy book. It's based off of my group's long-running D&D game. So we decided to take that, put it into a comic, and enter the comic industry. So if you're into D&D or you want to live vicariously through my D&D campaign, you can check it out. And we've got everything on our website at shadowmarecomics.com. Shameless plug. But yeah, so that's what we're doing right now. And then we're currently working on three things, actually. So we were working on one thing, and now all of a sudden we have three things. So the next thing will be kind of like another fantasy thing. I think I might have talked about it last time we were here. But yeah, anyway, so indie publisher, into comics, graphic novels, books. Having fun with that. So.
And you just finished the Kickstarter for the trade paperback.
Yep.
How's that coming along?
It's good. So we were talking before the show. Snap! Just working with the vendors, trying to get everything lined up, trying to get everything finalized so we can finally fulfill it. At this point, we're gonna have the trade paperback done and printed before a lot of the extra rewards, the add-on stuff.
Right.
Which hopefully that's what people wanted to begin with, was the book.
Well, you know how it is. You want the book. The other stuff is just extra. You don't mind when you get it, as long as you get it.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have that in the next couple of weeks. We'll probably end up having it around the time we release 7. So you can get your first volume 1 through 6, and then pick up 7 if you want. And then we'll slowly be sending out all the extra items a la carte. So if people got a T-shirt, they'll get the T-shirt when those are printed. We're having someone that we did a collaboration with, so we're getting custom coffee, 3-ounce coffee bags.
Nice.
For Hardly Heroes. So we'll send some of those out. A couple extra cool things.
Dude, man, it sounds like you guys are ready to party.
Yep. I just hope everyone's patient because I hear horror stories about fulfillment on crowdfunding, and I'm like, oh man, I hope a month or two getting everything out isn't bad.
That's pretty decent, bro. I've heard some people take a year, 2 years, 3 years.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. we want to get the first round of the volumes out to obviously the people who backed it, but then we wouldn't just have it for conventions and.
Yeah, that's the idea. But I find that sometimes what ends up happening is that either you have issues with the printers or you have issues with whatever, and next thing you know, it's 3 years later, and people are like, "Hey, what happened?"
Yeah, no, we'll definitely be getting it out. So worst case scenario, if for maybe my printer catches fire tomorrow or something, and all the equipment gets blown up, I will just straight up send people 1 through 6, so.
You'll get your book, even if I have to give you all 6 of them.
It's the last thing I do. So.
That's a good idea, though. At least people know, oh, he's dedicated. Okay, we're not worried about you anymore.
So yeah. So
And what's the table the planning on 7 looking like? What do you think the release is? Because you guys are pretty good with your releases, pretty quick.
yeah. So 20. So issue 7, we will have by the 9th of November. So
Wow.
yep. So we've got the rest of the color pages coming in, and then those will be lettered pretty soon. I'm uploading the next 8 pages of black and white pages to the Patreon. So,
Dude, I don't know how you guys like have kept up your scheduling, because you guys have been able to like, we've known you for about a year, and in a year you guys have released 5 more books.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah, there's some people they're like, oh, you're still here in a year later? Okay, good. Yeah, I guess so. I'm like, okay, I guess we're legit. We've been here for a year. So
Yeah, because you're in January will be the first. Oh, you guys will have a full year. That's when the first issue came out, right?
yeah, we did. I'd have to look it up, but it was like end of January, beginning of February. It was
That's
like
what I remember when I did the research.
Yeah. It's the official release. So yeah, we'll have to do something for the 1 year anniversary. Something.
Dude. You guys amaze me, because you guys got that get up and go. You got a great team working together. I hope you know how rare it is for somebody to be as accomplished as you guys are with the release schedule of books and getting things out there to the public.
Well, it's really easy. So you just don't sleep. If you don't sleep, or you're heavily medicated, just take Adderall 24. You can get a lot accomplished.
Oh, I completely feel you. This whole week has been interesting. I had at one time considered doing this daily show, and I am so happy I never did that.
That has got to be rough.
Shoot. There's so much logistics to take into play. I feel like if I had my own studio, it wouldn't be a problem. But since I'm doing this from home, it's kind of like you're working with other people's schedules.
Right. Yeah. If you have a studio, you have somewhere to go, and
exactly.
At that point, it's just an office.
Oh yeah, it becomes like a job. Like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah. Like there's some people who release daily videos. They're not even live, so then they have to record it, edit it. And I'm like,
that's a little easier, only because you're doing it ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like if I record 5 videos today, yeah, that way you have it set up for you to just release. But at the same time, that's still difficult because that's a lot of content.
Yeah.
Right.
So
now, Russ.
Yes.
In vain of this, because I think I've discussed this with you before. Have you ever considered doing a D&D pin set?
Have I considered it? No, I actually haven't.
I think it might do you some good, especially right now. D&D seems to have gotten this reawakening.
Yeah. So it's funny because, obviously, you've seen the pins that I do, and they're all pretty much, they look the same. They're templated. They're little stylized characters.
Right.
But, and I was thinking, I'm like, oh, maybe I should break out and start doing kind of more dynamic or different, not have it all, cookie cutter type thing,
Right.
I mean, obviously there's tons of people who do that, and I know I can do it. I just haven't, so time and all that such. So,
because I know it's a couple of things. I know part of you has to be because I've seen, I have seen how good you are with your art. So I feel like sometimes you're like, I want to expand. I want to do something.
I do want to expand. I honestly, one of the things, so D&D pins have never really come across my mind, but doing D&D caricatures, kind of for character sheets, cartoon versions of people's characters, that was a thought.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah.
But
I'll be the first one.
I see my hardly hero characters. You can do
exactly.
I love doing fantasy stuff, and I was like, oh, that would be a fit, but I don't know if that would be a big draw. So I mean, it's it's tough. So I gotta like play around with stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you already can tell that we're like, yeah, that sounds a great idea. Come on, let's do it.
Maybe that'll be something I have to try out then.
Yeah, there you go.
Because when I'm saying D&D pins, I actually mean like I like your caricatures. I like the way you draw your art. I like like you were saying, your cookie cutter stuff, because I feel like it has a uniform feel to it. And then you're looking forward to seeing how you're gonna do whatever version of character in your style, because
Right.
it is your style. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, so you're saying like do D&D characters in like the little bloop style or something like that?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, I've never really thought about that. That could be
Yeah, because you have the different ranger and sorcerer and wizard, and I feel like if you did your own version of those, I think a nice little pin set of that will come out. And I know that as gamers, we're always looking to have something that represents us, but maybe at the same time doesn't represent us. Because if it's like I play with a lot of wizards. If it's a little wizard pin, I'd be like, look, this is like what I'm supposed to be like.
That actually, and so now you've got the ideas flowing, because now I feel like that would be very fitting. Like I have like the bloops, but I also have like the little blips, and like those right there. I think that would be fitting. You could do a whole set of little tiny pins, like little mini pins.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, especially when we're role playing, sometimes you want something to represent you, whether it looks like your character or it doesn't look like a character, or at least it looks like your class.
Right.
I know as a D&D player, I'm always looking for art that represents the classes. The wizards, the races. You want something that you can like. Hey, look, I'm a wizard. Hey, look, I'm a paladin.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
What character do you usually play, Brian?
These days I'm playing a tiefling warlock.
See?
So I haven't died yet.
And it's so funny because they're set up, the way D&D is set up is you have so many ways you can go with it, because you mix and match things. So it can be an elf ranger, or like he was saying, a tiefling, and you can like it's such a. I love D&D because it's so creative and you can do so many things. Every game is so different. Even if you're playing a similar character, it's a whole other character.
Right.
Yeah.
I just know that I haven't played in a while. I know there's been a lot of updates, and I know that there's, like you said, there's a ton of variation of characters. So I know, like you got your warriors, your barbarians, your wizards, like I know there's like monks, and there's clerics and paladins, so I have to kind of narrow it down. And
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I feel like you probably would pick what you like the most, and that's what we usually do as D&D players. We go, well, this is when I think wizard, I think this and this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Raph is right. Yeah, you could have like just pick like a handful of main races and classes, and then you just have people, like a catalog of people picking from each one.
Yeah, that is a great idea. All right. Yeah. Well, now you just gave me a whole lot of work to do, and
and it's so funny because you were at the gaming, the Long Island Gaming and
the tabletop
game, the Expo. That would have been perfect for there.
Yeah. Well, got one coming up next year, so.
Well, see, now you got an idea.
Yeah. Maybe I could set one going for that show.
Yeah, the whole thing, and if you're looking to get creative and have fun with it, it's also a good way to go because it gives you a different direction. It's not the normal superheroes or TV shows, or it gives you something that you can create yourself.
Yes.
Because at the same time that it's D&D, it's your interpretation of that D&D class and race and whatever you put together.
Yeah. That'd be
so it gives you a way to be creative.
Yeah, that would be like possibly putting like a poll out too, like on Instagram, just like, what's your favorite, race class combination type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, you're right. It does work with your Game of Toons. It'll be like a different type of Game of Toons. You'd be like, hey, D&Ders or role players out there, how do you think this character should it be this and this and this and this?
Mhm.
Give them options and then let's see how they vote.
How it plays out. Yeah. Yeah. Like what race would you classify like a barbarian? And there's human, orc, whatever, elf, dwarf,
Exactly.
something like that. Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
And it's funny, Brian, because he has this thing where he puts the characters to fight each other. It's almost like a March Madness type of thing, and they vote.
Kind of like brackets.
Yeah, and the guys start to move forward, and sometimes the one you want doesn't win, and you're like, son of a. But it's so much fun. Like he started doing it a while back, and I jumped into this, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this even more fun. Let's bring the drama.
Yeah, and you did.
Speaking of which, so the pins start off as drawings that he does,
Yep.
and then he puts them to fight each other, and then the winners become pins.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so our last winner was the Invader Zim.
Yeah.
Damn
you, Invader Zim!
Actually, so I've been kind of trying to do like with first, like the first and second place. I try to make pins now just because they seem to have some backing. So Marvin was the second place, but Invader Zim won.
Because I remember Mario didn't win, but he got to be a pin, and he's one of your best sellers, right?
He does well. Yeah, the standard. I don't know how many of the Fire Mario I've sold, but regular Mario sells.
Well, that makes sense. Everybody likes regular Mario.
Yeah,
Fire Mario is more like I like Fire Mario, but he likes it.
Like the Darkwing.
The Darkwing, dude.
Darkwing, yeah, that's cool.
That's the guy I was going for. I was like, come on, Darkwing, but no. Who wins? Invader Zim. But I'm happy he made him.
Yeah, no, they are a lot. They're even exciting for me to even see it as this guy. I like throughout the day, I'm always checking, and I'm like, oh, they're up by 2 points. Oh,
exactly.
Like, yeah,
it's funny because what started to happen was like the more I jumped in and started causing chaos, other people were jumping, going, no, you can't have him win. I'm like, you can't stop.
Yeah, it was so fun. Yeah, hopefully I'll get another one going up soon. I'm thinking.
I was about to ask you.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Like I was trying to shoot for this month, but that just wasn't in the cards. But I would love to do like a fully new set of 16, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that done in a timely manner, especially with the holidays coming up. But I was thinking about doing like a redemption round where maybe I'll have people
bring them all back
and have past contenders come up and fight each other.
That's actually a good idea.
Good idea.
I've had a
couple. I know some people want certain other people to win.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment, and just do all past contenders.
That's a pretty good idea. Yeah. It sounds like a good fight waiting to happen.
Yeah, either that or I might try it with my little blip characters. That's another option too, because
it's never been the blips, right? It's always been
always been these blues.
Yeah. That'd be interesting because the blip's always so cute.
Yeah,
as you can see by the Deadpool.
I like the blip designs like better. I actually like those a lot, and I'd like to kind of move those forward. And I was looking through my thing. I have like over 100 of them already designed. So I'm like, okay.
Nice.
That sounds like dude. That sounds like a ready-made Game of Toons right there.
Just pop them in and go.
It's like, oh, dude, I don't need to set this up. Look here, that's what I have. Oh man. So tell us a little bit about the Kickstarter. It started when? You already started earlier today, right?
So we actually just launched about an hour ago.
There you go.
It was about 8:30. We actually hit the launch button. So excuse me. So I'm Game of Toons, but I also have another entity. It's called Pawpins, which are collectible animal pins that we release different animals, one a month, and we do a $1 donation for everyone we sold. Oh, we already got 4 backers too. That's exciting. Last I checked, it was 0. Awesome. But yeah, so yeah, so we've been around for 3.5 years, something like that. But yeah, so yeah, we decided we're gonna try something a little new because we do one pin a month, but we want to kind of try. I feel like there's something with this Kickstarter stuff, and I feel like I haven't really explored it enough. So we kind of wanted to try these little mini themed Kickstarters, and this is going to be the first one that we're giving it a shot. So it's just going to be 5 unlockable pins with potential for a free early bird pin. So we're just trying to keep it straight, simple. Yeah, and hopefully we can go forward that. Then that'll be we might then I don't know, these will probably be our monthly pins going forward
Right.
for the next like 6 months or 5 months if we can get them all done. But just figured like got to start somewhere. Like we've done the 2 Kickstarters prior to this, and they've both been successful. But like I feel like there's definitely more to this Kickstarter thing that we're not really taking advantage of it. So we're gonna give it a shot and try to get more people kind of involved behind it, seeing it, and just another way to get out there.
How did this first start? The whole Pawpins, because I know ever since I've known you, I've seen them there. So
Okay, so Pawpins, so before a couple years ago, we were in my wife and I in an apartment, and we adopted a cat, but didn't really have room for more. And we're like, it was kind of like this whole thing, this whole idea, like we wanted to use like our creativity, the art, and try to find a way that we can help animals, but not, like being that we couldn't like adopt more at the time. So we kind of came up with this this pin idea because we haven't really ventured into like the pin area. At that point, I was just kind of doing just straight art,
right.
like illustration. So kind of wanted to branch out, do something new. Thought this was kind of a good idea. I mean, I've always wanted to do something where we kind of create little characters. So this was another kind of way to get that into existence because each animal is it's got a little story to them as well,
Right.
or her. So yeah, but that's kind of how it all came up. It was just a way that we can use our creativity, the art, and kind of help animals at the same time. And the first one we did was based off of our cat, Luigi, that we have adopted.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I remember you telling me that actually.
yeah.
So let's play the videotape and see what the other you has to say.
Oh, it's just so fair warning. This was very quick. I just wanted to get something in there, and there's no voiceover.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I can tell you had fun with that.
Yeah. He said it was quick. It was quick, but
It kind of actually tells you exactly what you need to know.
Yeah.
It doesn't waste any words. It's like, this is what we got. This is what you're looking for. Look how cute they are. Look at the funny names. Look how cute they look.
Yeah.
I'm a man of few words, so that kind of up right there.
The pins speak for themselves.
Exactly.
Nice.
So let me ask you this, because I've seen a couple of other Kickstarters doing the same thing you're doing, where each pin gets released as you move forward with the money.
Right.
Is that something you saw other Kickstarters do as well? Or is that something you decided to do on your own?
Well, I kind of did some research beforehand to see what other people were doing. That seemed to be the popular approach. I kind of weighed out the options, and that seemed to be kind of the best way to kind of do it because our initial one that we did, our first one, it was it got intense where it was just like we were just adding on like 3 pin stretch goals, this, that, the other thing, and it was just like it was a lot going on. So this seems to be a little more contained and a little more cost effective.
Right.
Like like more of the funds are going to go towards the pins rather than coming out of like my pocket.
Right.
Not saying a lot did on the last Kickstarter, but I think it got to that point because of we were just adding so much stuff on. It was.
Well, it's like we like to tell people, like especially when we're talking Kickstarters. Same thing when Brian was here. People think that because the Kickstarter either funded or succeeded or whatever you want to call it, that all the troubles are over. And I keep telling people, no, it just means it funded.
Right.
It just means they get a bare minimum to do what they need to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell people all the time, keep supporting. Even if after it funds, keep supporting. Keep trying to get that stuff in there because, you want to give the creators enough funds so they can either do what they want to do or have funds to continue to do what they're doing.
Right.
Well, it's cool that you've got it set up that you have good stretch goals. So the further it goes along, the more pins you get. So, and I assume everyone gets the pin. Like, so say we unlock Happy the Hippo, everyone gets the hippo and then the flamingo if it's funded by the 5th, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of like the flamingo is free for anyone. So the way it unlocks though, it unlocks that choice. So it's kind of it's so you would back like however many pins you want. So if you wanted back 3 pins, you would back for the 3 pins, and then at the end of the campaign, if we have 3 different pins or more unlocked, then you would be able to choose from all the pins that are unlocked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
can we scroll down to see like what the different tiers are for? Okay, so
Well, these are the different releases, right?
Yeah.
And
so you can do 10 each or 3 for 25.
Yeah, well that's for the add-on one. So what happened was we decided on the African Safari, but we had 3 African Safari pins already made. So we're like, we're going to add those as an add-on.
oh, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if people want to get behind the whole African Safari, they can.
So you made you made the come on pretty easy because it's $10 for 1 pin.
Oh yeah. So yeah, like so $10 to the pin, like that 1 pin. That's typically what we sell them for. And then as it goes further down, you start saving.
$18 for 2 pins. This is pretty decent. You're actually getting more pins than you would get if you're buying them at a store.
Yeah. We tried to keep it pretty affordable. We wanted to make it a good deal, but we wanted to make it so we're not taking a big hit.
Dude, man,
try to keep it low.
But 3 pins for $25, that's a deal. I buy pins all the time, dude. Sometimes you buy 1 pin for $25.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the pins get expensive.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing
it's a whole other hole. I try to stay away from it because I like what I like, and I'll see pins that I want to get, and then I'll buy those. But if you go into that rabbit hole, you're gonna go poor.
Yeah,
definitely. I've been at what was it? I went to Anime NYC last year, and they had all these pin people were there, and I bought this beautiful Phoenix pin, but it was like $20. So you're like, okay, but it was a big thing, so I was like, okay, no problem. And you end up buying like 5 pins at $20. That's $100.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah. That's a quick.
Oh yeah, it starts to add up.
Yeah.
Oh man, but I think I really like what you got because look, even here now you got $32. You got 4 pins.
Right.
Look at that, $40. You got 5 pins. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You don't go too expensive.
Yeah, we tried to keep it where it was close to what we would charge like at a show, and like I said, as you go further down the line, it's just better saving. So
That is true. Because putting down $40 and getting 5 pins is a way better savings. Because if you bought them at $10 each, that's already $50.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, your pins are always fantastic. They're made very well.
No, thank you.
'Cause I know that when I was talking about Hugbert, I was like, dude, if I get Hugbert up and running, I gotta go through you to get my pins because they're high quality.
Yeah, no, they do a pretty good job. So I'm pretty happy with them. Like
I've seen a lot of cheesy pins.
Yeah, I get because I get a lot of emails from pin companies. Like once you start doing them, like they just start bombarding you with just like emails and messages, and I'm just like it's good to know that I have backups just in case. But I've been pretty happy with the places I use, so I don't want to change.
Yeah.
Oh man, look at this 1.25 hard enamel pin, black nickel plated single rubber clasp. I like the rubber clasps. I like them better than the steel clasps.
Yeah. We figure that's probably we like them better too. I like if people want to wear them on a shirt or hat or something.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like something like this, like we know a lot of kids do buy,
Right.
these things. So if they put them on the backpack or something, like so they're not getting poked or scratched.
Exactly.
So yeah.
It's funny because I the Big Phoenix, the one that I bought, I put it on my hat.
Nice.
And the last thing you want is one of those metal ones. Yeah.
You put a hat on, yeah.
At least with the rubber one, you're like, oh okay.
We do the rubber standard. We do have like the metal ones available. Like we got, so if people want to swap them out, that's fine. Because some people do prefer them. But
so the campaign ends on November 27th. Yes. Oh, so you even have like a timetable for how they're going to go out.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's very, it's generous, but it's like I pushed it. I gave myself extra time on that. I mean, we should be able to fulfill that sooner than February, but just in case things happen,
it's a pretty good time period. Yeah.
Yeah,
end of November, you get it by February. Wow.
Yeah, that's the hope. Like I said, I'm hoping even a little sooner. It's very tricky like this time of year because the Chinese New Year comes up and everything shuts down, so you have to kind of plan for that.
All right, so it's only $5 shipping. That's pretty decent.
Yeah.
I've been seeing some Kickstarters where you're doing $10 to $15 just shipping.
Yeah. Like I said,
even your international shipping is pretty cheap.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I kind of wanted to do it. I didn't want to get into like, oh, this place. Like, we don't have a lot of international backers. We had a couple here and there, but if I got to take a little bit of a hit for somewhere, if it happens to be more than that, so be it. But that should cover most places around the world. So
it should, and it's good. But again, I see what you're doing, and it's what I tell people. Like sometimes these creators doing the Kickstarters, they're trying to get you this stuff, trying to get it out to you. They're not really getting too much of a profit from, at least not from the Kickstarter.
Nope.
No. I tell people all the time, like the Kickstarter gets the book published. Now, for them to make money, they probably have to go to the cons and sell it through the cons, or they have to sell it on their websites, or they have to sell it. That's how they make the money. This just helps it get made.
Yeah. I'll probably end up taking a loss on the leather cover. That's okay. It's worth it.
See, but that's what we do. Because we want people to get good quality stuff. We want people to enjoy what they have. I feel like most people who are doing Kickstarters are actually trying to get you win out. You end up, especially with Kickstarters, the public supporting the Kickstarter ends up winning, especially when you support a Kickstarter, because you get things that nobody else is going to get once it goes into production.
Yep, exclusives. And I mean, I don't hear a lot of people talk about this, but like as a creator, I'm really I wouldn't want to back something that I wouldn't buy, and so like we were talking before or earlier, like how I had to go through one vendor and now I'm looking for another vendor for something. Like if something falls through or something, like I have to pivot to something else, I want to do that because I don't want to send someone something and they're like, what is this shit? Like, you know, that'd be the worst feeling ever.
Exactly.
So believe us, like on our end, we're definitely here to make sure you guys get a quality product. So
Yeah,
I have to admit that it's been very rare that I have been disappointed with a Kickstarter.
yeah.
You know, especially a Kickstarter, because like I was saying, because you're getting stuff that other people aren't going to get. Like you're saying, Brian, that the book you're giving out, and you're, you know, there's no other way they're going to get it. They got it with the Kickstarter, right?
Right. Yeah, I backed some people, and I got the book in the mail, and I'm like, oh my god, this is really nice. Like,
Yeah.
I need to make sure mine
Exactly.
is at least as good as the. So like when I send my stuff out, like it's gonna be all shrink wrapped and individual boxes.
Exactly. Dude, yeah, and the care that people take into getting your stuff to you, especially with Kickstarters, I've never seen anything come like not packaged well enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I've seen something destroyed, but it was still, but that's because the post office decided to like run it through the ringer.
Oh my gosh.
It was like, I'm like, dang. I felt like somebody just stood there and was like, let's crush this as much as we can.
They didn't like you that day.
Yeah.
Oh man. No, not at all.
Yeah.
I love your pins. You always do such a great job with them. They're such a great high quality.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, if you want to see in person how well Russ does his pins, if you are in New York City tomorrow, he will be at Patches and Pins Expo, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
I wrote it down here. I wrote down the information.
Go for it.
It's Patches and Pins Expo. It runs Saturday and Sunday, 12 to 6, at the Metropolitan Pavilion, which is 123 West 18th Street.
Good location. I've been dying to check this thing out because I've heard about it for a while, especially once me and Russ started talking, and he's been talking about this for ages. I think since I first met you, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, I've been doing this for a couple of years now. Yeah.
And it's funny because I saw that they just recently did an event in California.
Yeah, so these guys, they primarily, I think they're from California, so they primarily do their shows in California. So they have they hit like 3 or 4 different areas, and they started doing one in Phoenix as well. So
nice.
Which we might try to hit at some point because we got family out in that direction. So we might try to.
Oh, okay. It's time to travel. It is time to travel. Dude, I like traveling. I've been trying to hit San Diego Comic-Con. That's the dream. I know that's all our dreams.
Yeah.
It's true. Although I think I might go to New York Comic-Con next year. I heard it was really good.
Dude, this one was really well done. It was a lot of fun. It was really crowded. It's not the biggest crowd I've ever seen, but it was crowded. And I mean really crowded.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like your conventions, you should check out New York Comic Con at least once. It's an amazing experience. I will tell you right now, though, that with a lot of conventions, it's the same thing. You have this whole thing that certain conventions will overwhelm the hell out of you, and New York Comic Con is one of those conventions.
Yes,
they will overwhelm you. So be prepared.
Yeah.
Here we go. I put up the patches and pins.
Let's
see. There we go. And I can put this up so people can see it. There we go. Dude, yeah, some of these exclusive pins they have for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're talking about the Spider-Man here. If you're in the line, first 100 people,
yep.
I think they get one. And I'm like, how
early are you going to get there?
Exactly, yeah. I was hoping this thing was really early so I could just, get it out of the way.
Yeah.
But 12 o'clock makes sense. It's a pin show. Come on, people, let's show up. 12 o'clock means that you can actually enjoy your morning and then go and hang out and have fun. and this thing looks fantastic. I actually have a couple of other people there, showing off their stuff tomorrow too. So go check out the Patches and Pins Expo and have some fun. Geek out.
Nice.
Do you know where you're going to be already, Russ?
Oh, I don't actually, because it's a first come first serve situation.
Oh, this is different.
Yeah, so I could potentially be right up front, or I could be tucked away in the corner somewhere. It depends on whenever I get there.
Wow, wow.
Somewhat early, but not.
I gotta admit, most conventions don't do that.
Yeah, that's risky.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's like a little free for all, but yeah, we have to travel all the way to the city, so that's we don't want to have to wake up too early, so we'll probably get there. We're shooting for, I think, 9:30 or so, 10,
which is pretty decent because if it's not opening till 12, that's really early.
Yeah, I mean, and our setup is going to be quick because we have it like kind of streamlined for this because we don't, I'm not bringing my artwork. It's just all pins and.
I love your setup because I've seen it. It's like boom.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, but we gotta,
So how do they? So how do they do? Like, do they still have tables for you and stuff? You just go claim it. You just say, "Hey, I have one right there."
Yeah, it's basically how it is. They just have this table set up, and you kind of just go in and take whatever one you want.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
It doesn't have stuff on it.
Right.
It's always good to know because I know we're always looking at conventions going, maybe I should hit that convention.
Yeah. I've heard of conventions where like they don't give you anything. Like you show
You
up
gotta bring your own table, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta bring your own table and chairs. I'm like, that's not a convention, that's an arts market. That's like arts and crafts fair.
I had a friend who went to a convention and they didn't tell him that he needed his own table.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
So he's there and he's like, what do you mean I need my own table? You didn't tell me this.
Oh no.
Well, go walk to Walmart, I guess. Or
exactly.
Go rent buy a table, return it.
That's what he did. He went off. He ran off to Home Depot. Bought the foldable 6-foot tables.
Yeah.
At least Home Depot sells.
Yeah. they probably know. They're like, oh man, we sell so many 6-foot tables during this month. Why? I don't know.
But I like most places. We cover a lot of conventions, and I do like when when you're talking to the vendors and they're like, oh, they took care of us. They had the tables ready. All we had to do was come in and set up our stuff because that's what vendors want to do. They want to come in, set up their stuff, then be able to break it off and then go home.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because it starts to get complicated. I know you both know what I'm talking about. You go to a convention, it starts to get complicated. You're like, I got to do what?
Yeah, some of them are pretty intricate, especially the bigger ones.
Yeah.
Like we hit convention season, I guess, pretty hard this year. Like from like July to I guess October, really. And,
you hit your whole quadrant, didn't you?
Yeah, we pretty much hit. Well, we hit all the way up to North Carolina, down to Tampa. Plus, we do signings and stuff. But yeah, I will say though, most of the conventions we did, like overwhelmingly, I'll go back. There were like 2 that were the worst. But overwhelmingly, every convention we go to is great. Like we meet cool people. The people who run it are great. And like my bar is low. Like when I say there are 2 bad ones, like one of them we showed up, we didn't have a table at. So it's like, wow. So and they were assigned tables. Like we paid for a spot, And they're just like, oh yeah, go and see if you can find one. I'm like,
go see if you can find one.
So
see, people, I'm not lying. People always tell me, Rob, why don't you give us names? I'm like, dude, all I need to do is tell you the stories. You don't need to know the name.
Yeah, I won't name people, but yeah. And then there was another one where like all the typical things you think about a convention, like having a good website to like list times and events, like any kind of advertising, being able to take credit cards and cash at the door for tickets, like panels, like scheduling panels and announcing them, like all of the typical things you think, oh yeah, I'm going to a show, like this is the stuff I would expect. Like that, none of that was there. Like none of it was terrible. So those 2. And then needless to say, like vendors were mad because like they weren't making money. People were getting turned away at the door. Like people didn't know what was happening. Yeah, well, because like I was saying, they only took cash for sales for the tickets. So it's like, and then I think I was supposed to be a part of a panel, but I never really knew because like I didn't know what it was.
But we're gonna put you in a panel. We're not gonna tell you.
Yeah, no one showed up to the panel because the other guy who was like an indie publisher, he was just like, yeah, I walked over there, no one was there. So you know the bar is low after those two, but yeah, generally speaking, like because that sucks for people going to, you know, like for me, like yeah, I could lose money or something, but if I pay money to go here, like I'd be pretty pissed off if I have that bad of an experience. So
yeah,
definitely. I noticed lately too with the cons that taking credit is kind of expected now at this point. Like back in the day, yeah, you go there, you go with like a wad of cash, you spend your cash. Like now, people they hand you, like I'm at a table, they just hand your credit card, just they don't even ask like anymore. Like do you take credit? Like they just hand it to you at this point.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. You have like so you have like those guys, the old school guys who have like their wads of cash, especially like comic collectors.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, cash or card? They're like, no, how much? Here.
Well, it always bugs me out, especially the comic collectors. Is like, hold on a second. Let's see.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the new collectors that go, you take the phone?
Yeah, it's like everyone my age and younger is like, so.
But it's so funny because this makes life so much easier. But the problem is sometimes we're not set up for this,
Oh yeah, there are a lot of conventions where the Wi-Fi is just terrible because everyone's on it. Yeah, or worse, they're like, oh, you have to pay every day. For like a good
for the Wi-Fi. Yeah, we have special Wi-Fi. You give us $20. If you're lucky, it might work.
Yeah, exactly. So they just need like 5G routers and all these convention centers. They need to put like fiber optic cable in there or something. Whatever's happening.
So here's a good question because you guys are coming from two different directions when it comes to vending. If you were to able to talk to new people out there who are trying to like get into the same thing as both of you, what advice would you give them, especially about picking conventions? Because there's an art to picking the convention.
Yeah. Do you want to go first, Russ, or do you want me to
go? You can go. Go ahead.
Okay. So here's something I learned. Super. The secret. This will destroy the convention, $1 billion convention industry. So even if you're new, when you reach out to apply to a convention, like ask for a guest space. And you might be thinking, oh well, I'm just like an artist or creator. I've never been. Doesn't matter. Like I've been to conventions where like last minute they have to fill the space, especially the smaller ones, because like they want people there. They want vendors to be there. And so I've been given a free table at some, which is great because if you're starting out, you're new, like even if it's like $100, that's just $100 you saved on top of travel expenses and everything. So, and I've been to conventions where I paid for a table and I talked to someone like 3 tables down. They're like, yeah, they just gave me a table, like last minute because they're like, hey, just come on. And I'm like, well, shit, I paid for that. Like, so that's kind of my goal for this upcoming year is to message people and just apply for a guest. And it's probably better if you've been to some of them because then the people who are coordinators know, okay, this person's been to some conventions, they know what's up. But even if you're brand new, you never know. Like people may just be like, yeah, here's a space, or like, oh, can you do a panel or a workshop like at a pin convention? Hey, can you talk about what it's like to do a Kickstarter and make pins? Like, sure, yeah. Well, here's the table. So that's what I would tell people. Otherwise, picking convention, I don't know. We just did it for a year, and after doing it, we experiment and see which ones work and which ones we, a lot of it just comes down to like trial and error. You go to a convention, if you make money, cool, that's a good one. Talk to the other vendors there. They'll tell you, they'll be like, oh yeah, this is a good convention. I always make money. Or like, nah, this convention doesn't get much traffic, but you meet a lot of people.
see, that's the thing. So I feel like sometimes one of the things that we need to know as people who are doing this is that sometimes you go to a convention because you network.
Yeah.
And sometimes you go to a convention because you're going to make money.
Yeah. If you're in my experience, if you're a vendor and like it's your business, like you're reselling stuff, like Russ, you probably do better than I do because I have to bring content that nobody knows about. Whereas like if you're doing pop art, so like one of the things we started doing is I've met some local artists that do like prints or comic prints.
Mm-hmm.
So I can bring those to conventions, or like if I had some books that I got graded, because it's a lot rougher if you're coming in and you're creating your own original content. Not to say there's anything bad about doing like pop or whatever. It's just it's more recognizable.
Yeah,
So,
people
yeah, more people know it. So it's a way to get your art out there. But you have the brand recognition.
Right.
So so if you can do that, that's definitely the way to go. Or if you're reselling something, then you're going to make more money. You have a better chance, I should say, of making your money back. Whereas, like, if you're artist or creator, it's just a marketing expense. Like, be prepared to lose a lot of money. So.
Yeah. I mean, I always, when I go into it, I look at it as like exposure, so just making money is just like, I mean, like, yes, I want to make money, but it's not like, I more just want to get the word out, the name out, anything out there, just get people, knowing who I am and knowing what I have, type of thing. As far as advice for anyone, I mean, so I like the best thing is like, kind of piggybacking off what Brian said, is just kind of go out there and just trial and error and do whatever. Like if you see a show that you want to try, like go apply, do it, because like I've heard like people, like they ask like at shows, like, like, oh, how do you get in, blah, blah, and it's like people don't realize you go, you apply, you put in your social, you show them what you got, and then they, like for the most part, unless it's like a really big show, you're probably going to get a spot. So
for sure,
yeah. So just like, like go out there and just don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Really, that's probably the biggest hurdle right there. Because I mean, I know it was for me when I first show. I was so nervous. I was so damn nervous. So yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh, I'm here.
Yeah. Oh, it was. I was nervous to even ask. I was like, yeah. Because the show was at the LI Retro back when they were doing it in like the hotel.
Oh wow!
Doing a couple like designs for the guys. I was like, would you mind if I like set up a small table? But it took me like 3 days to get up the nerve to even ask them.
And it's funny because when you're doing something like that, like you're helping them out or you're working for them, it's actually the best time to ask, because you're building a relationship with these people. And you might as well take the next step and go, hey guys, do you mind if I get a table? Because and if they like your stuff, if they hired you, they're gonna be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. No, I like I'm glad I did. I'm glad I started working, because I still work with those guys every year. So all the you see all the pins there. I do all them too.
If you're adding some kind of value, you're volunteering or working, like don't be afraid.
Yeah.
You're adding value to these people already. Yeah. So it's not unreasonable to ask them, hey, like, throw something back at me.
Yeah. Help me out a little bit. I'm helping you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I agree with what both of you are saying. And also at the same time, make sure to put yourself on waiting lists. I know it sounds weird, but get yourself on those waiting lists. Even if you hear, well, this show is booked already, go, hey, do you guys have a waiting list? Get yourself on those waiting lists, because what ends up happening is sometimes people don't show up. Sometimes stuff happens. Sometimes people have to leave. There's a lot of stuff that happens in these shows. And if your name is on one of those waiting lists, you might get in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Another thing we did is and this is where networking is a big deal. Like, you be sincere. You don't just talk to, I don't know. There's like, to me, there's like a big stigma around like networking because it's like, oh, it's a chore, I have to do it. But like, if you talk to people, you're in the industry, you'll meet people. But something we did is after meeting people for a few months, and you see the same people at conventions, because a lot of these industries, like, it's such a small world, everybody knows each other. To get into one of the biggest conventions in Florida, MegaCon, we actually got denied when I applied. And then what we did is I had a friend and he was going. I said, hey, do you want to split your table? So I really want to get into the show. We could split the table, save me money, save you money.
Mhm.
And he's the type of guy who will go around and get all the signatures from people. And so he's like, oh, 100%, just watch my table for me. I'm like, of course, yeah, I'll be there all weekend. I'll watch the table for you while you go, meet people and stuff. And so we got into that one. And then we took over the table for the next year because the bigger conventions, some of them may have where you like prepay for the next year while you're there and you get a discount. Yeah. So
yeah, you guys got to look out for that too. That's a good.
Yeah. So from getting rejected, not even being able to go there, we were there, like totally legit. Well, semi legit, I guess. And then the next year we applied, and now we get a table, just because we were there and we got in. And it's not like I knew somebody. It's not like I knew like the coordinator, and he's like my buddy. I just got with someone, split a table. So, and a lot of people will do that. Like, people are pretty cool. So,
yeah, there's so much things you can do.
Yeah.
And ways to help yourself out. But the whole thing is, you guys really, it's all about getting yourself out there.
Mhm.
Being able to take that risk, take that jump that needs to be taken to make things happen.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, they say no. Okay, well, there's a lot of conventions now. Like,
Yeah.
And it's a good thing you're saying that. Dude, don't start with the bigger conventions. You can do that. I'm not saying that's not a total negative, but there's so many home conventions, and sometimes you make more money in those conventions than you would in the bigger conventions.
Oh, absolutely. That same one that I was just talking about, MegaCon, we didn't make money because when we added up the travel, and this is in Orlando, which is 2.5 hours away from us.
Yeah, we know MegaCon. We almost made it, and then COVID said no, you can't go.
Yeah. Yeah, we should. Yeah, well, you go to MegaCon, you buy the ticket, you get COVID for free. So throw that in there. But yeah, I mean, on top of the gas, travel, like hotel, parking each day, expensive con food, like we definitely didn't make money at that convention. But we go to like a convention where it's like a, I don't know, $80-$100 table fee. It's in like a Holiday Inn ballroom. We make great money, like so that's the thing, you don't know until you do it.
Yeah, that's trial and error. It's really
like because there's some stuff too where if you're the only person there, so like if you go to a show and you're like the only guy with pins, well, now you're unique.
Exactly.
Now people are like, ooh, that's cool, that's different from everything that's going on.
It's actually like, so it's funny that you mentioned it, because like I said, I do LA Retro and I do that every year. And when I first did it, and even the first couple of years when we moved over to the museum, like I was one of the only people that had like art, and I still do brickmaking, like I did like phenomenal. And like then like I think people kind of started catching on, like, oh, and like artists were trying to get in there. But like I know the guy who runs it, I know he kind of limits the amount of art because it's a gaming convention, so he wants to have games and like vendors who are doing like selling games, so he tries to limit the artwork. So luckily I'm in there, but like that, it's funny because it's definitely you could hit that where you get in the con and you're like one of the only people that have that product. So,
right.
Yeah.
And now that you're both saying that, you also have that concept where, if the convention is something that you don't think fits you, maybe it does. You don't know. You might as well try it out. Because I know that if Brian, he has his book and is related to D&D. So if you follow the line, you can go, Well, then Brian should be able to go to a gaming convention and do
Mhm.
okay or well because
Yeah.
it's related to the games.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that would be a fit, and like something like that at a gaming convention would probably, because
Exactly.
you see a lot of that at the gaming convention. So
Yeah, that's something we're looking into 2023 to see if we can fit a couple of those in our lineup. But to your point, that kind of brings that I had a thought about multimedia. So like for us, we got a plan to do this live stream. So you know what I'm about to say. But we turned the book back into a D&D 5th edition module. So we're slowly rolling it out. Like we want to do a couple live stream let's plays, and then we'll start doing it at conventions, like more conventions and in stores and stuff. But if you can take your product and adapt it to something that they're doing at the convention, then that's your in right there. Like then now you can be like the convention we kind of tested the module at. It was like a D&D convention, but my buddy Matt ran the module, and then he just brought books. So he, people, he was like, if you like the module, it's based off of this comic book that's based off our D&D game.
Mhm.
And naturally, people are like, oh, yeah, here, I'll pick it up and try it out. So if there's something you got, whether it's you're the only person there doing that thing, or you go to a convention where people are doing whatever it is you're there for, if you can expand into that medium, then now you've just captured that market too. So,
yeah.
And speaking of which, so Brian brought it up. We are working with them to do a live play of the game, and it should be happening sometime in November. And we're just trying to hammer down the date and the details so we can bring it to you. But it's definitely happening in November, and it's probably going to be about 2 to 3 weeks from now.
Okay, awesome. See, I wasn't in charge of planning that, so this is a surprise to me too. I'm excited. Nice, yeah.
See, that's the whole thing there. Sometimes you play with what you have, and you figure out, wait, maybe I can do that, or maybe I can do this, or how about we try something different, which is what you guys are doing with that, And with the pins it's another way to go too, because you got so many different directions to go. You can do the pop stuff. You can do what you're doing with the Pawpins, which is and people love those animal pins, dude. Because I've seen them come up to your table going.
Yeah, no, they do really well. The only issue is everyone wants their specific breed of dog, which is understandable. But I can't. Then I just have like all dog pins. So
Yeah.
It's tough. But that's what they want. It's like we try to cater. Like if we get a lot of requests for certain dogs or even just animals, we try to make that a thing eventually. Like in our next line. Like actually with this Kickstarter, the reason we started with the hippo is because we've had a bunch of requests for hippos. There's some reason. I'm like, all right, I guess they're popular. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because the Kickstarter is like your pre-order campaign.
Exactly.
And that fuels the line.
Right.
Thing,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I see we are at the hour mark. Can you believe that, guys? We've been having too much fun here. All right, so let's start with you, Russ. Tell them all the good stuff, where they can find you, the Kickstarter, where you're going to be tomorrow. Go ahead.
Okay. I took the liberty of writing it down again because I always forget stuff, as you know when you ask me at shows.
I got to do the same thing, so don't worry. I got notes in front of me.
Yeah. So I kind of write that. So, all right. So you can find me if you're into like fan art, pop art stuff. It's at Game of Toons. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. If you're interested in animal pins or just cute animal illustrations, it's at Pawpins Pins, and that's on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as well. The Kickstarter we got going on, we just launched it tonight. If you search, you go there, you search for Pawpin Safari, it should come right up. Running for about 30 days, so hopefully we can make this a thing. This weekend we will be at a table at Patches and Pins Expo. It's running Saturday, Sunday, 12 to 6. Metropolitan Pavilion in New York City. It's 123 West 18th Street. It should be a good time there. It's we'll have Pawpins be the main table. I will have some my Game of Toons pins as well. So look for me at the Pawpins table. We'll have a mix of everything there. So.
And just to bring it up, because I know we're still working on stuff, there may be some surprises coming up. We're going to do a special show to showcase the whole thing, and we're working on a collab to bring you some new, fresh stories that are popping into our heads. Because I know Russ has all this energy that he needs to use and put out there because he's so creative, and I appreciate you, brother, because you do some good stuff.
No, thank you. Yeah, I can't wait to actually show off the little things and kind of take it to the next step. So,
and that as well is coming in November. So stay tuned, because in November we're doing things you should buy your geek friends for Christmas. And these are all great things that we've looked over through the year that you should really get your geek friends for Christmas. Speaking of which, Brian, tell them where they can find you and all the good stuff.
Sure. So we're pretty much out everywhere at Shadowmare Comics, shadowmarecomics.com, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, rarely TikTok, but we're on there as well. And then if you go to the website, shadowmarecomics.com, you can pretty much find everything that we do. Also, if you are into comics and you're into D&D, you're going to love my book, Hardly Heroes. It's a fantasy book based on my D&D group's campaign, and still ongoing. But it's an ongoing book. We do an issue about monthly, and we have subscription option on the website and on the Patreon. So if you're into it, you want to try it out, you can order it, or you can subscribe and read the digital copy and get all the back issues. Some people who are outside of the US like the digital option, because then they don't have to pay like $30-$40 for shipping, unfortunately. But if you like the physical issue, we have all those as well on the website.
Dude, I still love this cover. I like the fact that you actually let the audience pick which cover they wanted.
Yeah, I couldn't decide. They were all sweet. I was like, well, I'll let people decide. Why not?
Oh, this is just badass. Look at that.
Yeah, I would like to do like a foil version of that.
Dude, that's what I keep looking at this going, this has to be foil, man. The lightning would stand out so much.
Yeah. At some point, yeah. I have a couple different people I could talk to about that.
Hey, you guys got another, you might have another Kickstarter coming up. That might be one of the exclusives.
That's right. Yeah. Maybe I'll just do a Kickstarter for like all the exclusive covers. Get your wooden cover, get your foil cover.
That'd be interesting. Well, you can always premiere a book and then do all the special stuff around it and go, here, get your exclusive this issue, but you can also get all this other stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of what we did for the trade paperback.
Exactly.
Well, your stuff that I was planning to do, I haven't done yet. Here you can.
It's one of the good things I like about Kickstarters. It actually lets you get creative. It lets you put stuff out there that you probably couldn't put out otherwise. And you give the audience something different, something unique. And as collectors, what we want is different and unique, because we want to be one of the only people that owns them.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there you have it, folks. Both of these guys will be here sometime in November. Yeah, so just stay tuned to find out when I will have them and when we will do the live game, because it's all going to be interesting. And I'm thinking right now that I might plan a D&D special day with a couple of the people that we've gotten to know. So that should be interesting. I'll let you know what I'm planning.
Oh, before we go, sorry to interrupt. I was supposed to announce the raffle, because on the last stream we did, if you backed the Kickstarter, you entered a raffle.
Right.
So let me pull that up real quick.
I know what one of our members is going.
Yeah, it was. Oh man, that's what I get for drinking too much scotch on stream.
I used to do that in the beginning, but then I started saying stuff.
Well, yeah, you have to host. So Jordan Hagar, I've messaged him already, but
yeah, Jordan Hagar, he's a great guy. We actually added him on to the show. He started off as a fan, and especially as a fan of Source Point Press. So he's a great guy. He's gonna be in love with this.
nice. Yeah, so he I think he's gonna apply that to the commission he's already doing with Shadow.
Yeah.
So he's gonna do that, and then we're gonna do one. Probably just get like a statue of the logo of the mayor. So.
Oh yeah, I've heard things about what he's working on, so this should be interesting.
Nice.
I'm not saying nothing. We all know Shadow Rabbit is the man. He does amazing stuff. If you guys want make your dreams into reality, the perfect person to go to is, of course, the Shadow Rabbit. And of course, here is my beautiful Hugbert, which is the one I am working on to bring into comic books. And he helped me picture him in 3D. Shadow Rabbit is the man. There you have it, folks. I'll do now what I've been doing. I'll press the button, and when it stops, nobody knows.